Hey guys, welcome to this video. This video is actually part one in a two-part series all about strengthening up your glutes. Now, your glute muscles, for those of you who don't know, are the muscles here in your bum, hence this video being called How to Build Bulletproof Bum. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dan. I am a soft tissue therapist, a personal trainer and a movement specialist. And on this channel, you're going to find lots of tips, tricks and techniques to help you learn how to manage your pains, your aches and your injuries. Right, let's get on with the video. Okay, so important thing to tell you before we start. This video series is not about trying to increase the size of your glutes. I'm afraid I'm not going to turn you into a Kardashian. But before you run away and go find a video that will show you how to do that, don't just instantly dismiss the exercises I'm going to teach you in this video series. You see, if you dive straight into trying to do those big impressive looking lifts like the barbell hip thrust without first taking the time to make sure you've built the strength in your glutes, then you're not going to do those exercises properly, which means you're not going to get the size that you're looking for, and you're also going to risk having an injury. So take the time to do these exercises first to strengthen up the glutes before you move on to bigger, more impressive looking lifts. Now in today's video, part one, we are going to be looking at strengthening up the glute medius and the glute minimus, which are the glute muscles at the side of your bum here. Now these muscles are responsible for abducting the hip, so taking the hip away from the body. The glute medius, because of where it sits, is also involved in a little bit of internal rotation, like so, and a little bit of hip flexion. Now, it's really important to make sure these muscles are strong because their main role when they're working together is actually to stabilize the hip when we're walking or when we're running. So if they're weak and not doing their job properly, then something else in the chain is going to be picking up the slack. I find a lot of people who get knee pain or lower back pain as a result of having weak glute medius and glute minimus. Okay, let's have a look at how to get them stronger. So before we start strengthening up these muscles, we're actually going to lengthen and stretch the opposing muscles, the adductor muscles here on the inside of our legs. And the reason we're doing this is the chances are if you've got weakness here, you're going to have tightness here. And these muscles are incredibly strong when they're tight. What that means is when we try to do our strengthening exercises, these muscles are going to be battling against us and we won't get the full contraction we need in these muscles to be able to build the strength that we want. So to stretch them out, you're going to take a nice wide stance like this and try to keep your toes facing forward. Now the first thing you do is you're going to shift your weight from the hips towards the side that we're stretching. So let's say we're stretching the left hand side here. So we're going to shift our weight at the pelvis, at the hip joint, to that side. And when you're doing this, make sure that you're not shifting your weight by bending from the back. It should be from the hips. Now straight away, you're going to feel a stretch here. Now hold that for about 10 seconds just to let it soften down and settle a little bit. When that's settled after 10 seconds, you're going to enhance the stretch by pushing your hips back and then taking yourself even further towards that leg. So we're bending at the hips, we're not bending at the lower back, and we're taking our weight further in this direction. Now that should feel like a really nice stretch in there. Again, you're going to hold that for about 10 seconds, and then we're going to go even further. So to go further, bend the other knee and drop your hips right down until you start feeling a really, really deep stretch on the adductors here. When you're in that position, I recommend holding that one for about 20 seconds. Okay, when you've done that, stand up, move on to the other side. Okay, so now we've lengthened out the adductors, we can start strengthening up our target muscles. To do the first exercise, we're actually going to be lying down on our side. This one looks really, really simple, but there's a few little tweaks you can make to ensure you're getting maximum contraction out of the glute medius and the glute minimus. So the first thing we're going to do is lie down on our side, like so. Okay, do whatever you need to do with that other arm so that you're comfortable. Then straighten out the legs. Okay, the leg that's on top is the one that we're targeting. Then you're going to plant the other hand onto the floor, and just roll yourself slightly so that you're leaning more towards the floor and just putting a bit of weight on that elbow so it offers a bit of support. Now, instead of just lifting the leg straight up and down, there's a few little things that we want to do. So first off, you want to turn your heel, so your heel is facing towards the sky and your toes are facing towards the floor. You're then going to take the leg back slightly, so it's just behind the leg that's on the floor, okay? Then make sure you really focus on squeezing your glutes, squeeze the outside of your hips, and then lift up, okay? Take your time, don't rush it. If you're doing this properly, keeping the heel pointed up and keeping a little bit of extension in the hips, then you should really start to feel this in the side of your bum, in those glute medius and glute minimus muscles. Okay, I recommend working towards doing 15 reps on one side and then swapping over and doing the other side. Okay, for our next strengthening exercise, we're going to stay down on the floor, but this time it's the leg that's on the floor that we're actually strengthening. So what we're going to do is this time you're going to rest on your elbow like so. You're going to straighten your legs out again like this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to contract the glutes to push up off the floor. So coming up into a side plank position, okay? Like so. So you're squeezing your glutes, just driving the hips up and down, okay? Hold it about roughly 5 seconds at the top, then come back down and relax the glutes at the bottom, and then repeat, okay? Nice simple one, but really, really effective. Again, I'd work up towards doing 15 on each side. So for our final exercise, what we're going to do is in a standing position. So as you can see here, I've elevated the right foot, which is the side I'm strengthening. Now all I'm doing is letting the hip on the left drop down and then squeezing and contracting my glutes on the right to bring the hip back up to level. Okay, so it's a really subtle movement, but a really effective one, this one. So drop the left hip down, squeeze the right side to bring it back up to a standing position. Again, I would work up towards doing 15 reps on this one and really focus on that contraction on the side of the right hip. When you've done one side, turn around and do the other side. Okay, so that is part one done. That is all about strengthening up the glute medius and the glute minimus. Now what I'd recommend, as I said in the video clips, is to work up towards doing 15 reps on each side. That's slow, controlled reps where you're really focusing on contracting those target muscles. When you can do that, add in an extra set, so you're doing 2 sets of 15 on each side and then a third set when you're ready. And I'd say when you can do 3 sets of 15 on each side comfortably with proper form, it's time to then start thinking about some potentially more advanced exercises. Now make sure you are keeping an eye out for video 2, which will be coming in the next 7 days, which is all about strengthening up the glute max, which is the one at the back of the bum. If you've liked this video, then please make sure you give it a thumbs up, give it a like below, and ensure that you subscribe to the channel. And if you hit the little notification bell, then you will get a notification when the new video is ready. Thank you for watching, guys. As always, I will see you in the next video.